Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So glad to have you all here. This is a meeting about so-called non-duality. What is non-duality? Well, it's a label, the sound. Doesn't mean anything. Non-duality doesn't mean anything. But to the seeker, everything means something. It has to, because I mean something. That's the illusion. I'm seeking because I feel incomplete. It's very convincing. So this meeting's about there's only ever just what's happening. Sitting in a room, attending a Zoom meeting, getting comfortable in my chair. And this is all that's happening. Nothing else is happening. There's no other this. This is just what's happening. It's not a, I've even called it a mystery in the past, but really it's just what's happening. You could say just what's happening is a mystery. And so there's nothing to sort out about this. And as me, that's all I wanted to do was know who is God, who am I, why am I here, what's this all about, what's the point? And it turns out there just aren't any answers for any of it. But there's the appearance of questions getting answered. Oh, how do I get to the store? Oh, well, you just go down this road and then just make a right. So in that moment, the knowledge can appear when needed, but you're not doing that. I'm not doing that. Nobody's doing that. And the me is a credit taker. The me says, I did this and, I feel guilty about it. Could have done it better. Maybe I hurt someone's feelings. And so there's never a freedom with the me. It never feels completely free. Maybe for a moment can get lost in things, but there's always that sense that something's not right. And so here, I just simply found nothing worked. No answer, no book, no teacher, no philosophy, no mantra, nothing. But if there's an urge to keep seeking there, then that's what's going to happen. You know, there can be an urge to seek, and there can also not be an urge to seek. Not one is not any better than the other. It's just what's happening. And anything can happen at any time. Yes, Damien.
You said no philosophy works for you? Are you being sincere?
Is as sincere as I can be. It's not that I didn't try every philosophy under the sun. I tried. Believe me, I tried. And, you know, if that's what's going to, go for it. Try everything. Try everything
Yeah.
you think will help. But
So
go ahead.
you even creating your own philosophy, have you nothing like that worked for you?
Well, the revelation was there's nobody here to create anything.
Well, you are here and you can create.
Um,
So
okay.
I'll speak for myself.
Okay.
If there's one philosophy that I feel like I can believe in, and it's not any philosophy with any fancy name or anything you'll see on a book or anything like that. Maybe there's a couple books about it, but it's just kindness.
Hmm.
To live in kindness, and of course, being human and being imperfect, I'm not going to always live in kindness. I'm not going to always be kind. But from a completely rational point of view, I've found that there's rarely a time to be anything but kind. I suppose if you're under attack and your safety is in jeopardy, and I'm sure we've all been in some sort of situation like that where probably kindness should be secondary to making sure you're safe. But if there's one philosophy for me, it's kindness.
Yeah. As far as philosophy goes, that's not a bad one. I just couldn't do it here. I'll do, there were times where I didn't want to be kind, wanted to be grumpy, you know. I just couldn't guarantee. I could be kind, maybe they wouldn't be kind back. What's that all about? So there was this expectation, right? If I'm kind, I'm kind of expecting people to be kind back to me. Really.
And that would be nice, but it's not the reality, right?
Well, here I just found there's no ability to control anything.
Yeah. But how about if you don't try to control anything? Oh, well, and here's the thing, you can only control yourself. And even then you can only, we're human. We're completely flawed and imperfect. So you're not even going to be able to control yourself, but yourself is the only thing you can control, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
how's that going?
Honestly, when I embrace that, it goes much better than thinking I can control anything outside of me. Um, Not perfect, but then again, I'm accepting that I'm a flawed human being who can only do his best at the best of times, and that is almost never going. There's almost never going to be a perfect scenario. I'm never as kind as I possibly could be, and I forget myself. I forget my desire to be kind sometimes. And sometimes I'm neutral, and sometimes I'm grumpy, and I'm unkind without being conscious about it. And I don't know.
I have a question. When we're talking philosophy, the question comes up, to what extent, it's like, what would be the goal? Like, it sounds like a recipe of sorts. Like, what if, like, you want to achieve something, or you want to experience a particular outcome, you want a recipe, how to get there. I was just curious, when the two of you had this dialogue, what would be the objective? Or I can, well, I'm going to add, no, okay, it's a question. I've been coming to these meetings for some time now, and there's a message that keeps being shared. And one aspect is that, well, there is various aspects to it, but I think I just want to leave it at the question for now.
I enjoy exchanging ideas, so I get joy out of it. I'm honestly getting joy out of this conversation. I'm trying to understand Michael's point of view, and it seems, and this is just me making assumptions, it seems a little bleak and hopeless. And I honestly just would hope, even though I don't know you, Michael, I would just, I would feel bad if you truly felt that hopeless.
Mm.
Can I ask more specifically, like when you said kindness, just that question was, what do you want to achieve with being kind? Rather than just like or speculating about Michael's, like where Michael's at, but what would you like to achieve by being kind?
Peace and serenity within myself. And secondarily, so that's very selfish, right? Really. But secondarily, peace and serenity to those around me, which, if you really think about it, that is also selfish, self-centered, because I'm going to be more at peace if the people around me are also at peace. I'm going to feel more serene if the people around me are more serene. And so, though I do truly wish that for the people around me, it ultimately is because that's what I want. And that's selfish. So, but then, sometimes it's okay to be selfish. Maybe. I see Nina wants to say something.
You have to unmute, Nina.
Yeah, I just heard you saying that's what I want. And there's always, the individual always wants something in order to achieve, some kind of positive outcome. But the message of so-called non-duality, it doesn't care. Like there's not a goal for a specific outcome, because it's easy to be serene in a serene condition, but what about when things aren't serene in the circumstances? Is that okay too? And the me doesn't like that. The me doesn't want to feel chaotic and stressed out, but that too is part of all of this as well. That's the message I'm getting, is that this entirety, this oneness is so free that it can be in slavery. It can look like anything, and that's okay. There is no there is pure desirelessness, and that's the freedom that we're speaking about, right? Is that kind of where we're going here?
The freedom is already everything.
It's already there, so
It's
it
already
can appear
everything.
as anything.
Yeah, it's already, so it's freedom appearing as Damien's you know, act of kindness towards other. That's this expressing as that.
Right. Yeah. And it's, the me is it's a preferred desire by the me. Is that right?
Well, actually there is no me.
Right. So there's an energetic there's an energetic dissatisfaction or a contraction somewhere in the body. I heard there's a contraction, and we're always trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
There's
So
always
that's not you trying to get rid of it.
right.
So when you say there is no me, I'm kind of assuming you're talking about that the self is an illusion and ego is an illusion created by our brains. And I do agree with that, but the reality of being human is that we have that illusion. Well, that's a good paradox, isn't it? The reality of being human is that we live with this illusion, and we can shut that illusion off sometimes, but it's very fleeting, and we're going to end as soon as we start interacting with other humans. That illusion of self and separateness comes back. I mean, I haven't really tried to eliminate that, but I would imagine it's near impossible. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I just don't think we have control over it. When it happens, the falling away of the me just it's automatic. It just happens, even though it's not really happening, because it was an illusion in the first place. There never was a me, there never will be a me. There's just an illusion of one. And that illusion drops.
Yeah. But then even then, the illusion drops. Let's say I'm able to do that. The illusion drops for me, but if I'm interacting with another person, they're most likely completely within that illusion. So I where I work, the relationship between management and hourly, and I'm an hourly, is very contentious. It always has been, always will be, I think, at least in my lifetime. And I've gone from how I dealt with it in the past was to, if someone of authority came at me aggressively, I'd come at them twice as aggressive. And over time, I learned to change that. And it kind of has to do with kindness. But if they come at me like that now, I sit there and nod like I've been doing in this meeting. And I just let them, I don't know, I let them get it all out. And then I don't react in kind. And it has made my life at work so much better. I know that's a weird way to answer your question, but
The impression that I get is that maybe there are different paradigms at work. And, Nina was talking about a message, and I have been talking about a message in the past because I come here because I resonate with that message. Now, and what I'm hearing Michael say, that really ultimately the message includes it all, and it's all an expression. I'm trying to avoid jargon. There's a lot of jargon that is being used because people have been around this for a while, and I'm trying to speak non-jargon, but I'm not doing that well with it. But so I'm just going to say, thank you for your sharing, Damien, and the part that touches me is that there is always something wrong or something missing, or you know, there is an objective to be reached. In the jargon, it's often referred to as the seeking, that we're seeking, you know, and in a meeting like this, often what we're seeking is liberation or enlightenment or this or that. And what I'm experiencing typically here in this type of meeting is that everything is perfect as it is already, and there isn't really anything that needs to be changed. It is as it is, and there is nobody here that judges what is as being good or bad or right or wrong, or it's just an expression of something that is perfect already.
Yeah, that resonates with me too.
And not that anything else would be wrong. I mean, you know, like when you're talking about work environments, man, you know, it's been rough in my experience dealing with all kinds of not very kind people, you know. So, and that is just what it is too.
What I really appreciate about this and the message conveyed is that it's effortless. I often hear people say it's effortless and obvious. I don't know if it's obvious to me, but effortlessness, the effortlessness of the whole thing, you know, that I don't have to try to be kind. I don't have to try to be good. The trying and the effort is,
Yeah.
I've come to the end of that. I haven't got any energy left for trying or efforting in any way. And yeah, something else that was said, I don't know, about hopeless. I think hopelessness was mentioned. Well, I'm okay with the hopelessness because somehow hope's not helpful here. Maybe hope's got effort in it, and that, but yeah, maybe.
Actually, Faith, as you were saying it, hope is actually cruel. Because it's saying there's the possibility of something other than just what's happening.
Yes, so when I hear this message is hopeless.
Well, it's not, this message is not hopeful or hopeless. It's neither.
Right. Okay.
It doesn't give you anything to land on.
Right. Well, I love that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, you know, after all your life, a person is always trying this and trying that and jumping through hoops and just constantly not being okay with what is. You come to the point where you're just done. Like, I just want to be okay with everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it. If you want to have an argument, go for it. I don't feel like getting involved. I don't want to be right anymore. I don't care.
You may notice, Nina, that take a look right now.
Yeah.
Right here. What has a problem with this?
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing. To have a problem. Even being at your wit's end is okay.
Okay, well, if you find your wit's end, show it to me. See, they're all concepts. All words are
Right,
concepts. They're stories. They don't. This doesn't actually move.
right.
Every, all that is doesn't move.
Right. Yeah, it's the back and the forth. That's the me energy.
Yeah, but it is that, the hamster wheel is used for a reason, because it's a lot of energy and that poor hamster is not getting anywhere. And that's how it is for me. It can seem like it, and but
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. There's no what this is already perfection. So there's no need to improve on it because it's already here. And I don't even know where here is really.
sure. And it's see, what the me, right? It can't imagine everything. So it can't imagine, right? This as everything already. And that's the word the me just can't hear, is already. It's already this. There's already not a separate individual there. So there's no talk of getting rid of, dissolving.
Right.
Or getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. How can get better what's not there?
Or worse.
Yeah. And those things can arise. Worry everything's free to arise. It's got nothing to do with you. Look how shocked the me is. What?
No, what a relief.
I know.
Yeah, it's a relief. I just feel
You wouldn't be here if it wasn't a relief. This is the only place you can talk about this. You can't talk about this anywhere else.
yeah.
Go into your work. There you go. Go to your work and try and talk some non-duality. See how far that goes. So here, something when Nkosi, said all is this about 2.5 years ago that he first showed up here, something resonated with that. He said, well, whether there's a me there, a sense of a me there or not, doesn't matter to this,
Right.
because it's all this already. Something just went right, like to the, center of the heart. I was
So
like,
no one has to wake up.
no,
We're not here. That's not our
no.
like, okay, so I've started doing energy healing work and just being in groups of people like this, and just being in the group can shift something.
Mhm.
And that's the healing
Yeah.
in a way. Like that's what, because I was trying to figure out what is healing. Like what is it really? Because everyone wants healing these days, whether it's physical or emotional.
Yeah. Well, the me always wants something. Come on.
Yeah.
So this
And
isn't
lately it's been healing. The
okay.
healing is what everybody wants nowadays.
Okay. So Yeah, the me always wants something. But this isn't talking about something to come.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with anything. So going to meditation, going to, healing groups, there's nothing wrong with anything. It's
Mhm.
just not any more important than going to a baseball game. And the spiritual seeker thinks it is. I know when I used to go to the Vedanta temple, it was like going to the holy ground, you
Yeah.
know? And it was all in my mind. It was all made up. It was just, other people were driving by it, didn't even seem to notice the place.
Right. So it's our own perception, which is like a misperception that this way is better than that way. That lives within the mind, so to speak. That's just a belief that we hold as valuable. I don't know. It's not valuable. Believing that this way is more spiritual than that way. The mind always wants to divide things up into categories and polarity.
Yeah, well, that's how the mind operates with a this and a that. It needs an opposite. It works in duality, right? Hot, cold, left, right. I'm doing well. I'm not doing well. So the mind is always landing on it's like this one's a little hard. This bed's a little too soft. Oh, this one's just right. So that's sort of the me is just constantly, trying to upgrade. It's always looking for upgrades. And here that was exhausting. I know, it's funny, Nkosi and I were talking the other day, and we're talking about our seeking. And I said, Nkosi, the seeking was it was like being on fire. Like I didn't even care about money. Money had no appeal. It was this and only God. At the time, that's what it felt like. I was seeking God. And Nkosi said the same for him. It wasn't money. Now that's just how it was here. There was just a white on fire. Something here demanded freedom and wouldn't rest. And I exhausted. I gave up. I couldn't, there was nothing, no answer seemed to suffice. No manly answer. Like anything people said could always be contradicted. Any belief could always have an opposite belief. So the idea that the answer was in the human realm, I realized that that was an assumption, or something here seemed to realize that was an assumption that I'm a human being, that you're human, that we're separate.
The me searching is also a beautiful thing. The me searching and struggling and wanting and going crazy, that's also a beautiful thing. And I would say, going to what Damien was talking about, I think that I would call that's the kindness of this. The kindness of this is that it allows the me to search and doesn't get in the way, right, and just allows it. So the this is very kind in allowing, and like we always say, everything is allowed. So the me searching, the me trying to get out of pain. I'm in pain at the moment, so the me trying to get out of pain, the me trying whatever, it's not getting rid of the me. It's the me is doing that. That's this. So in that way, that is perfect.
So the struggle is part of this as well. And nobody knows how long that appearance will last. It just is. It'll just last as long as it lasts, and then it changes again.
See, what the me doesn't want to hear, the me that doesn't exist doesn't want to hear, is that nothing has any meaning.
Right.
Everything's empty.
Of course,
There can appear to be meaning, but it doesn't mean anything.
of course, I always have to say that too is a story. That's a big non-duality or new age story. That there's no meaning is like, how does one know there is no meaning? We just assume because of what we're doing, there's no meaning. But you can't know that. It can't be known that there's no meaning. It can't be known.
Yeah, neither this nor that.
And well, we as human beings, don't we, like, isn't that one of the few differences between us and the rest of the animal kingdom is at least we think we can make meaning. We try and we think we can, because, rabbits out there eating grass while avoiding coyotes at night aren't making meaning of anything. They just want to get some calories so they can reproduce.
According to who?
I don't know who to reference to that, but
According to the imaginary me who makes all meaning.
Yeah.
right. No, and I'd heard about these pets on YouTube that have these buttons, and they can tap them with their foot, and they're communicating with their people. And before I saw it, and I heard about this years ago, before I saw it, I thought that's the clever Hans effect. Is a trick. A cowboy had this horse named Hans who could tell the time and do math and all this other stuff, and he would do it by stomping his foot. Well, now you got this big dog with a bunch of buttons in front of him, and he appears to speak by tapping these buttons. And I'm like, that is the clever Hans effect. And I saw it, and now I'm not so sure. I'm kind of convinced that this dog really is communicating with this person, and I'm really, like, I'm afraid to commit, because I don't want to feel like I've been fooled. But it really does seem like this dog is actually communicating with his person, his human, because the dog is a person as well, apparently. And I believe that about my own dog for years and years. He has a sense of humor, for one thing. I don't know. I guess I'm agreeing with you.
Interesting.
A comment about meaning. One of the jargon words in here that you'll hear a lot is stories, and meaning is really mostly stories, because it's something we explain stuff and we create the story. This is why this, and these stories are based on our belief systems, or on science, or on myths, or on conspiracy theories, or they're stories, and I think the message here, if there was one, I believe there is one, the message would be, it is what it is. It already, it expresses what it is without putting a label to it, or without putting a story to it.
Mm-hmm.
It just is, for no reason.
There's the appearance of meaning, okay? There's the appearance. Things can appear to mean things, but that doesn't mean anything.
I was thinking as Don was talking that this is just what feels really freeing to me, is that I really have no purpose. And it's like, oh, wonderful, because I've tried so hard to get a purpose, but just to say I don't have a purpose, man, that's so liberating. I don't have to know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good, Alice. In this culture, purpose is everything. What's your purpose? What's your person? What's your passion in life? What are you going to be?
That's a lot of work.
It
And there's
is.
a sense of urgency in that question. Like you have to know. And if you don't know, you're guilty. Like it's just got all this yucky stuff attached to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of judgment attached. What if your purpose is the wrong thing? Like for me, I'm a musician and I love playing music with other people. And I would say that's my purpose, because that's what gives me joy in life. And it does something to my brain. That's why I like it. It makes me feel joy. And I know that's just a chemical reaction happening up here, but it sure is nice. More than nice. It sure is wonderful when it happens. And maybe then I just turn into this this thing that's just chasing that. Now I'm just chasing that feeling. I don't know.
Damien, I have a question. Do you do any improvisational music?
It's my favorite. Yes.
Mm.
And as far as that like dopamine hit, that feeling of joy, I have on a couple occasions, but on one time, very, very powerfully, like my consciousness, my psyche blasted off through the atmosphere, and I was like in low Earth orbit. And I don't know how to explain it. I had not had any alcohol. I had not, whatever chemical reaction was going on in my brain, it all came from within. It came from playing improvisational music with friends, and it came crashing down when somebody who had taken a break to go to the bathroom or something burst into the garage where we were playing, and it goes, "Oh my God, well, you're shredding. What the hell's going on?" And I was like, "Whoa." Bam, right back into my body. And I was like scared. And he's like, "Dude, how were you doing that?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And you just freaked the hell out of me. And I know I can't go back there again.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
It's kind of interesting.
Welcome, Nkosi.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hi, Nkosi.
All right.
Oh, you're muted. Nkosi, you're muted.
And I feel special now because I've heard so
Hello,
much
everyone.
about Nkosi.
Shredding just happens, D-Man.
Oh, I love
Yeah. Well, if
It
I
just
hadn't,
happens. No, you don't. You. There's no you that did it.
well, if I, at that time when I played guitar, all I did was practice improvisation. So when I was playing by myself, I had a little looper pedal. I would play a chord progression through the looper pedal. Now it would loop my chord progression back at me, and I would then solo along to it. And that's how I became comfortable with playing that way. And I never really had like an out of body experience when I did that by myself, but there was a couple times where I did it with friends where I did. And I know, like, I don't really believe in like mysticism. I don't really believe in much outside of the human experience. I don't believe that I actually blasted off into the low Earth orbit, but that is my experience. It all happened chemically in my own head. That's what I believe. And everybody is free to believe differently if that's what they want. But I also truly believe that if I hadn't at that time been practicing improvisational music, that experience probably would not have been possible.
Tempted to say there's no way of knowing when we get into hypotheticals. Hypotheticals are stories, you know. It always is what it is. And to kind of bring it back, it's what is. Here they call it this.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hi, hi, how are you?
Could you talk about there's no doer?
Yeah, there is already no doer. There may be doing happening, and something may seem to say, oh, I'm doing this and that. But there's just what's happening. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody has ever done anything, you know. It's everything is appearing to happen. There is no one doing anything already. There's just what seems to be happening. It's just this.
Oh, looks like he froze.
Perfect
But there's
timing.
no separate.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there's no separation. There's just everything, you know. But there may be different experiences that may seem to appear in this. But that's not to say there is a real separation. Separation is just a dream appearing in this. And there's nobody dreaming anything. There's just this appearing as that. So when what seems to be the dream ends, it is recognized that there was no one doing anything. No one was ever doing anything. No one was ever seeking. No one was ever experiencing anything. It was just totality. What is this boundless energy appearing as that, or appearing as everything? So there's no one here who is even listening to what is being spoken. Right now, there's just speaking happening, but it is not directed to a certain somebody. This isn't trying to to change the world or to save the world. You know, it's just what's happening, and it's going nowhere. This, as it is an expression of totality already. There's no wrong or right. You know, anything may appear here, anything may arise. A question may arise, somebody sharing an experience, a certain experience, and an answer may seem to be given. You know, there may be an argument happening, frustration, confusion, but it doesn't belong to anyone. It's just an expression of everything already, of this. Nothing being everything. Really, it can never be described. No words can actually describe what this is. This is beyond any description. This as it is wordless. Yet it may appear as words, as it seems to be happening right now. There's talking and listening, analyzing, confusion maybe, joy, peace, you know, it doesn't matter. This, it's just a totality, wholeness appearing as that. No matter what shape or form it may appear to be, it doesn't matter. It may go to the left, it may go to the right, it may go up, it may go down. It's still just what it is expressing. So here there's no suppression, you know. Everything is allowed to be as it is without judgment, because it is seen that everything is an expression of this, of wholeness, of everything already. The sense of being a doer is already totality, this appearing as that. There is already no real separate doer of anything here. Because that's when it is looked for. It can never really be found. Even that which seems to be looking is already not there. So there's just nothing happening. Nothing ever happens to you because there's already no you. Yeah. There's just this as it is.
I have a question. So if there is understanding, then that's an expression of this. And if there's not understanding, that's another expression of this.
Perfect.
And both
Exactly.
are perfect.
Yes. It may appear to say, oh, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it may appear to say, now I get it.
Mhm.
Oh, I've lost it. It's still an expression of this.
So you can't, there's no getting closer. There's no getting further away. There's no escape.
Exactly. Exactly. There is no escape. Whatever may arise here, question, discussion, sharing, it doesn't matter. It's just totality appearing as that.
So Nkosi, I have a question, because when this meeting's over, I'm probably going to eat a little something so my stomach will feel all right and I'll have enough energy. And then I also want to sleep well tonight, and knowing myself, I need to go to the gym and wear myself out, and then soak in the hot tub for about 15 minutes. Then I'll come home, wash off the chlorine because I don't like the smell of the chlorine and I want to be clean anyways. And then I know I will sleep soundly. But if I don't do that, I'm going to sleep about 2.5 hours, and then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be wide awake. And I can then meditate for maybe 3.5 hours tops before my brain just goes, forget it, you're up now. And then I end up feeling pretty lousy for the next 12 to 18 hours until I go work out, wear myself out, and do it all over again. Could you help me understand in the what my plans are for the rest of the night in context to what you're explaining just now?
Okay, that's as it is. There's nobody doing that. It's just what's happening. You know, it's even when it seems as if there's somebody doing it, you know, there is nobody there. It's just an expression. That's as it is. It's just an expression of this, of totality, of everything. You know. So really, the victim or the one who seems to be the sufferer is already not there. The one who may seem to say, "Oh, I'm suffering. I don't want this life. I want to get rid of this suffering." It's just never there. You know, it may be seen as just a thought, and a thought, when it is looked for, it can never be found. You know, because already there's no one who's even looking. There's just nothing here. So nobody ever does anything, you know. And then because of this message, or when this message is listening to this message, there may be a resonance that everything is already this. There's no doer of everything. But that just happens. No one is resonating with anything. There may seem to be a recognition, but there's no one who's recognizing that there's just this. Even it's what seems to be happening, you know. So this message isn't for anyone already, you know, because there's no separation. This doesn't see the other. It sees itself as everything, including the one who's asking a question, including the one who's giving an answer. The room itself, the wandering itself, every sensation, the computer screen, you know.
Yeah, and
So
I understand that, like, myself is an illusion. That's a trick. It's a trick my own psyche is playing on me to think that I am a self. Yet myself does not want the consequences of what will come tomorrow if I don't go make myself very tired and then make myself very relaxed so that I can get good sleep. So I could make the choice, instead of doing that, which is actually kind of inconvenient, I could make the choice to maybe just read a book and then go to sleep and do the other thing, and the only reason I know it's going to happen is from past experience. I know that if I don't go make myself tired, if I do this other thing, maybe I read a book for an hour and a half, and then I will be tired from reading for an hour and a half. But I also know that I'll sleep for about 2.5 hours and then be basically wide awake, and then I'll suffer tomorrow. So my desire is I'm going to choose to do the inconvenient thing, which is to go make myself tired and then make myself relax, because when I spend time with people tomorrow, I would like to have a pleasant experience.
yeah. Yeah, so there isn't a you who's doing that. Even that which seems to be asking a question is not you. There's never a you who's separate.
But there's an imaginary me.
Yeah, it can be seen as just an imagination. When it seems as if it's separate from everything, that's an imagination.
Mm-hmm.
That's as it is. Somebody who says, oh, I'll wake up in the morning and go to the gym. That's this, just this totality appearing as that. And it is already totality who's saying that, it's not you. So this doesn't see you as separate from everything. The you who's separate from everything is a dream appearing in this. There's never a you who's separate. It's just this appearing as that. It is saying, tomorrow in the morning, I will wake up, go to the gym, meet my friends. It is exactly this, saying that you have never done anything as separate.
But the illusion of me is real. Illusion by it's in that, and then now we're at a paradox, or we're at a, I mean, it is a paradox. The illusion of self is an illusion, but the illusion itself is very real.
If you were to imagine that there's a huge elephant behind you, how can you remove it?
What if I don't want to remove it?
Let's say maybe it's making you feel uncomfortable, It's an imagination. There's a huge elephant, How can you get rid of it?
Maybe he smells bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to like this answer, but if you tell me to not think of a giant elephant behind me, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to continue to imagine a giant elephant behind me if you tell me to not think of a giant elephant behind me.
You will feel uncomfortable.
Maybe.
Well, it's just an imagination. It's just an imagination. It's just never really there. You can simply stop imagining,
Well, actually, I can't. I know for a fact I can't. If you told me I can't eat dinner until I stop imagining the giant elephant behind me, I'll never eat dinner. Unless I lie and tell you, like, lie to you and say, no, I no longer imagine the elephant.
Yeah, it's just an example, that the imaginary separate self is unreal. It's an imagination. It's just never really there. It's already totality appearing as everything. There is no real separate self except as a thought or imagination. This isn't separate from itself. And there is already nowhere to get. It's just simply this. What's happening.
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
I have one there, Michael.
Yeah, Brenda, go ahead.
Yeah, just on that comment when you say stop imagining and just be. Is that not a doing?
Yeah, that was Nkosi. Let's see if he has something to say about that.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, it sounds on the surface like a doing, but there's already nobody there to do it, Brenda. it's just, there's only what's happening. But when we're lost in imagination, it seems like there's a me who has a life, who has friends, there's a world that I'm in, and I have all these decisions I need to make. And very complicated, very stressful, a lot of story. And the simplicity of just this without imagination is this effortless and obvious. Sitting
So
on
it's
Go
so
ahead.
it's the attention, you know, that's so conditioned to go out. Basically, instead of going out, you know, into some imaginary whatever, thinking about work or thinking about your relationship or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of the attention going out into outwards, it's
Mhm.
actually being pointed inwards. Is
Well,
that like to
it's
the, so you're not kind of, you know, chasing another story? Is that,
well, outwards and inwards are also a story, right? Outwards and inwards.
right? Okay, how about the space? How about the attention, as opposed to going into a form of a story? Because it, you know, a story is some type of a form, you know, whether it's then it's to just to stay in the space, then let's say.
Well, the revelation is, Brenda, there's already no you to stay in a space.
Well, I was meaning the attention, but
Yeah. He's just Nkosi. He gets, you know, I hear from people when I do his posts, and sometimes they'll say what you're saying, Brenda, and it seems confusing from the me's perspective, because he's saying, well, wait, there's nobody's there, but he just gave a command just to stay here. Oh, there he is. Nkosi, Brenda, you want to go ahead and ask him?
okay. So Nkosi, when you say stop imagining and just be, um, it sounds like it's like the, like, don't let your attention, like, again, I'm using your, but don't let the attention go out into like whatever, and like more like keep it more in the space. Like, can you expound on that kind of, you know, don't imagine, just be?
Well, uh, that may seem to be, according to the me, imaginary me perspective, may seem to be directed to a certain somebody. But here, it is just this talking to itself, you know, in a way. So that at times may seem to arise, that stop imagining and just be, but it's never, isn't talking to a certain somebody who's separate. You know, it's just what seems to arise at that time, you know, because anything may arise here. At times, this may say there's just this. Whatever may seem to arise is already an expression of this. At times, it may seem to say, stop imagining, you know, bring back the attention to to the heart space, you know, but it's never really trying to help anybody, because there's no one here who needs any help. There's just this expressing itself, dreaming
Because it,
itself to be separate from itself.
because the attention's always tending to go outwards, right? Like in most instances, like, the attention's rolling around in some story out there. Gotta go to work, gotta go to the gym, gotta eat, gotta, whatever.
Yeah, that may seem to happen. That may seem to happen. The attention itself may seem to identify with the activity. Then it may seem as if there is the real you who's separate, who's trying to fix things, but there isn't a you. It's just an attention that seems to shift, and
So does your attention kind of rest then within yourself most of the day?
rest within myself.
Well, again, I mean, I can't pick the perfect words, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with the words.
I understand. Well, I may say that's just what's happening. This it doesn't mind, and nothing is taken seriously here. This at times may seem to engage in the dream, and play, because here everything is seen as just a play. Nothing is taken seriously. So the message is there is already no one there who can do anything, even when it seems as if there's somebody who's doing anything. What seems to be the separate self, things may happen as they are happening, and what seems to be the separate self may claim to do things, but that's the separate self has never done anything because there's no separate self. There's just what's happening, just this appearing as everything. So there's no woman, there's no man, yeah. There's no human being, there's just this. In the story, it may seem as if there's a woman, a real woman, a child, a family, sister, brother, but that doesn't exist. Well, in the story, just to decorate the story, make the story beautiful, there may be labels appearing, That's not to say that is wrong or right, it's just what appears to happen. And it's not happening to anybody. It's just an expression of this, of everything.
So beautiful stories belonging to no one.
Exactly. And they're okay. This isn't trying to get rid of the story. This isn't trying to get rid of the separate self, because there's no separate self. There's no story. It's just this.
So in your case, it's just this fathering.
Sorry, come again?
So in your case, just to use an example, in your case, it's you fathering, like with your son?
Yeah, I don't know how can I put it. Yeah, that may seem to happen. They may seem to be, oh, okay, my son, but really it is seen that it's never really my son. There is no me here who has a son. That's just what's happening. But it doesn't try to avoid that and say, oh no, this is just a story. No. Life may seem to, happen. It may take care of a son, visit the son, play with the son, but there is that effortlessness with everything, and there's no seriousness here. That's, oh, I'm a father. No, just everything's beautiful. Everything's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. each and every
you.
one of you for coming. We so love and appreciate you. And Nkosi, no words. Good night, everybody.
Happy
Night.
Thanksgiving,
Right.
everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.